with, I would request both the Prime Ministers to sign and exchange the India-Japan joint statement. I would now request the two Prime Ministers to come to the podium, please. Excellencies, we will witness the exchange of 6 documents between India and Japan. First, we have the Memorandum of Cooperation in the field of cybersecurity for information sharing, capacity building programs, and cooperation in the area of cybersecurity. This will be exchanged from the Japanese side by His Excellency Suzuki Satoshi, Ambassador of Japan to India, and on the Indian side by Shri Harshvardhan Shringla, Foreign Secretary of India. Next, 7 Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA loans worth rupees 20,400 crores for projects in connectivity, water supply and sewerage, horticulture, healthcare, and biodiversity conservation in various states. This will be exchanged from the Japanese side by His Excellency Suzuki Satoshi, Ambassador of Japan to India, and on the Indian side by Shri Ajay Seth, Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs. Next, we have diplomatic notes for amendment in Annex 2 of India-Japan Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA, and protocol for amendment of Article 7 of Implementing Agreement under India-Japan CEPA. This will be exchanged from the Japanese side by His Excellency Suzuki Satoshi and Shri BVR Subramaniam, Commerce Secretary of India. Next, we have a Memorandum of Cooperation on Decentralized Domestic Wastewater Management. This will be exchanged on the Japanese side by His Excellency Suzuki Satoshi, the Ambassador of Japan to India, and Shri Pankaj Kumar, Secretary in the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Number 5 is India-Japan Industrial Competitiveness Partnership Roadmap. This will be signed on the Japanese side by Mr. Hirose Naoshi, Vice Minister for International Affairs, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, and on the Indian side by Shri Anurag Jain, Secretary, Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Number 6 is a Memorandum of Cooperation on Sustainable Urban Development. This will be signed on the Japanese side by Mr. Okanishi Yasuhiro, Vice Minister for International Affairs, Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, and on the Indian side by Shri Manoj Joshi, Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from these agreements, the outcomes of this summit include launch of Clean Energy Partnership for cooperation in areas such as electric vehicles, storage systems, including batteries, electric vehicle charging infrastructure, development of solar energy, hydrogen, ammonia, etc. Number 2 is an announcement of 5 trillion yen, which translates into 3,20,000 crore rupees, investment target. This follows from the Investment Promotion Partnership of 2014, when both sides had agreed for Japanese yen 3.5 trillion investment during 2014-2019. Number 3 is a sustainable development initiative for the northeastern region of India, including initiative for strengthening bamboo value chain. Excellencies, this concludes the exchange of agreement ceremony. I now request the spokesperson of the External Affairs Ministry to conduct the proceedings.
Distinguished Prime Ministers, members of both delegation, friends of the media, we will now begin with the press statements. May I now request Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to make his statement. Sir, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency,
Prime Minister Kishida, distinguished delegates,
नमस्कार.
good evening.
जापान के प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में प्रथम
It is a great pleasure for me to extend a welcome to Prime Minister Kishida on his first visit to India as Prime Minister of Japan.
जापान में आए भूकंप के
I express
जानमाल की क्षति के
my
लिए
condolences to you on behalf of all of India for the loss of lives and property in Japan in the earthquake that took place a few days ago. Friends,
भारत के पुराने मित्र
has
रहे.
been an old friend of India.
विदेश मंत्री की
As
भूमिका
foreign
में
minister,
वे कई बार
he
भारत आए
has visited India
और
several
मुझे
times.
उनके
And
साथ
I have had
विचारों का
the
आदान प्रदान करने का
opportunity to exchange views with him.
पिछले कुछ वर्षों में
Over the last several years, the India-Japan Special Strategic and Global Partnership has made unprecedented progress, and Prime Minister Kishida has played an important role in this. Our annual summit today has been organized at a very critical juncture. The world is still struggling with COVID-19 and its side effects. The global economic recovery process is still facing various obstacles. Geopolitical events are also posing new challenges. In this context, further strengthening India-Japan partnership is important not just for our two countries. It will encourage peace, prosperity, and stability in the Indo-Pacific and also at a global level. Our mutual trust, our civilizational ties, and our shared values such as democracy, freedom, and the rule of law are at the heart of our relations and strengthen them. Our discussions today have paved the way for taking our mutual cooperation to new heights. We exchange views not just on bilateral issues, but also on several regional and global issues. We have also decided to increase our coordination at the United Nations and in other international forums. Friends, we have seen over the last few years unprecedented progress in India-Japan economic partnership. There is tremendous trust and enthusiasm among businesses in both countries. Japan is one of the biggest investors in India, a trusted partner. Japan's contribution has been significant in our flagship projects such as the dedicated freight corridor and the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail project. We are very grateful to Japan for its contribution. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail project has made good progress. Both countries are working on this, adopting a one-team, one-project approach. This project is a great example of India-Japan partnership. I am very pleased that the 3.5 trillion Japanese yen investment target set in 2014 has been exceeded. We have decided to increase our ambition in this area.
5 ट्रिलियन येन 5 ट्रिलियन येन मतलब करीब 3,20,000 करोड़ रुपए का नया टारगेट तय किया है. आप सभी जानते हैं कि पिछले कुछ सालों में भारत ने व्यापक आर्थिक रिफॉर्म अपनाए हैं और ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में बड़ी छलांग लगाई है। आज भारत मेक इन इंडिया फॉर द वर्ल्ड के लिए असीम संभावनाएं प्रस्तुत करता है। इस संदर्भ में जापानीज कंपनीज बहुत समय से एक प्रकार से हमारी ब्रांड एम्बेसडर्स रही है। हमारे बीच टेक्नोलॉजी और इनोवेशन सेक्टर्स में पार्टनरशिप में नए आयाम जुड़ रहे हैं। हम जापानी कंपनीज को भारत में अनुकूल माहौल उपलब्ध कराने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध हैं। आज लॉन्च किया गया इंडिया जापान इंडस्ट्रियल पार्टनरशिप रोड मैप एक कारगर मैकेनिज्म सिद्ध होगा। जापान के साथ हमारी स्किल्स पार्टनरशिप विद जापान विल आल्सो प्ले एन इफेक्टिव रोल इन दिस डायरेक्शन। फ्रेंड्स, भारत और जापान दोनों ही Japan understand the importance of ensuring a secure, trusted, predictable and stable supply of energy. ये सस्टेनेबल इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ के लिए
This will be
उस लक्ष्य को पाने और क्लाइमेट चेंज की समस्या से निपटने के लिए बहुत ही अनिवार्य है।
Tackling the problem of
हमारी
climate
क्लीन
change.
एनर्जी पार्टनरशिप
Our clean
इस दिशा में
energy
लिया गया
partnership
एक
will
निर्णायक
prove to
कदम
be a
साबित
decisive
होगा।
step in this
कई अन्य
direction.
महत्वपूर्ण बिंदुओं पर भी
Today,
आज हमारे
we
बीच
have
सहमति
also
बनी
come to an
है।
agreement on many
घोषणाएं हुई
other
हैं।
important points
प्रधानमंत्री किशिदा की
and
यह
have
यात्रा
made several
भारत
announcements.
जापान
Prime Minister
स्पेशल
Kishida's
स्ट्रेटेजिक एंड
visit
ग्लोबल
today
पार्टनरशिप में
has been
नए
successful
आयाम
in
जोड़ने
adding
में
new
सफल रही है।
dimensions to the
मैं एक बार फिर
India-Japan special
प्रधानमंत्री
strategic and
किशिदा
global
और उनके
partnership.
डेलीगेशन
Once again,
भारत
I
में
would like
बहुत
to
बहुत स्वागत
express
करता हूँ।
a very warm
धन्यवाद।
welcome to you and your delegation in India, Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request His Excellency, Mr. Kishida Fumio, Prime Minister of Japan, to make his press statement. Excellency, the floor is yours.
はい、ナマスカ
Namaskar.
ー、今回、日印
I am
国
so
交樹立
delighted to
70
have
周年
chosen
の節目
India
に
as the first country to visit for the purpose of bilateral diplomacy since assuming the post of Prime Minister, also in the 70th anniversary year for diplomatic relations between Japan and India. I am pleased to have been able to further deepen the relationship of trust with Prime Minister Modi through face-to-face intensive discussion.
まず先ほどモディ首相の方から
As Prime Minister Modi
先日我が国が
has
発生した地震に対す
he
る
has
被
given
害
us
への
very
お見
kind
舞いの言葉をい
words
ただき
of
ました。
condolences
御礼を
for the
申し上
recent
げます
earthquake that hit Japan.
そして
Thank you
世界
very
は
much
今
for your kind
世
words.
界国際秩序の
The
根幹
world
を
at
揺
the
るがす
moment
事
is
態に直面をしてい
jolted
ま
by
す
the。developments
こうした状
shaking
況
the
だからこ
very
そ
foundation
民
of
主
the
主義や
international
法
order.
の支配
As
といっ
such,
た
Japan and
基本的
India
な価値を
sharing
共
fundamental
有する
values such
日
as
本とイ
democracy
ンド
and
が
rule of law
自由で
should
開かれた
therefore
インド
more
太
than
平
ever
洋の
work
実現
in
に向け
close
て
partnership
二
through
国間や
bilateral
日
relations
米
and through
豪印
fora
等を通じ
such as the
緊
Quad
密に連
to
携してい
realize
く
a free
重要
and
性は
open
格段増してい
Indo-Pacific.
ると考えます。本日ウクライナ情勢
We
につい
exchanged
ては
views
少
at
人数の
length
場で
in a
時間
small
をかけ
group
て
today
突っ込んだや
in
り
an
取りを行いまし
in-depth
た。
manner on the
ロシアによ
situation
る
in
侵略
Ukraine.
は
The Russian invasion of Ukraine is a grave incident shaking the very essence of the international order. We must respond in a firm and resolute manner. I conveyed such thoughts again to Prime Minister Modi, emphasizing that unilateral attempt to change the status quo by force must never be allowed in any region. Prime Minister Modi and I reaffirmed that we should seek peaceful resolution of conflict based on international law. And also, because of these developments, it is important for our two nations to further advance efforts to realize the free and open Indo-Pacific. Japan, in close coordination with India, will work to call for immediate cessation of hostilities and to resolve the situation through dialogue, as well as providing humanitarian assistance to Ukraine and the neighboring countries.
Japan has already decided on $10 billion emergency $100 million emergency humanitarian assistance to Ukraine and the surrounding countries, but we will provide further additional assistance. We also agreed to strongly oppose the attempts to unilaterally change the status quo by force or exercising economic coercion in the East and the South China Seas. The two of us confirmed to work in partnership on regional issues, including North Korea. Prime Minister Modi assured me his support when I asked for the continued understanding and cooperation on the abduction issue. On global issues, as the developments in Ukraine unfold, voices are raised asking for a new framework of international order. Both of us confirmed together to build momentum towards United Nations Security Council reform, utilizing the G4 process as well. I spoke of my resolve to lead the international efforts toward creating a world free of nuclear weapons, and we agreed to continue to have dialogue with India. We had broad-based discussion on how to reinforce our bilateral relationship. On the security front, both of us welcomed that our bilateral partnership is bolstered, for instance, by the application of the Japan-India AXA in the joint training exercise, as well as increasingly active multilateral partnership and exercises. We agreed to hold the second Japan-India 2+2 meeting at the earliest time, building on such concrete cooperation.
We welcome the signing of the Memorandum of Cooperation in the field of cybersecurity, the building of a secure and reliable 5G network, diversification and ensuring resilience of supply chains, among others, are areas where, together with Prime Minister Modi, I will be addressing common economic security challenges. India is an important partner in the new form of capitalism that I am promoting. Today, we agreed to set a target of JPY 5 trillion in investment in India over the next 5 years. Through the Japan-India Industrial Competitiveness Partnership, among others, we will further develop India-Japan economic relations, which has great latent potential. New impetus is needed to restore the economies hit by COVID-19. In the area of climate change, Japan-India cooperation will be promoted through the India-Japan Clean Energy Partnership announced today and other initiatives toward a carbon-neutral, diverse, and realistic energy transition across the world. And we hope to push forward with Japan-India cooperation through the India-Japan Clean Energy Partnership, which you announced today. I believe this will also contribute to energy security. The exchange of notes for over 300 billion in yen loans has just been signed. We will continue to work together to back up India's sustainable growth. Cooperation on the flagship Japan-India high-speed rail project and the development of India's northeastern region, which will enhance regional connectivity, will also be steadily implemented. The ban on the export of Japanese apples to India has been lifted this time, and the simplification of procedures for the import of Indian mangoes to Japan has been realized. I am happy that the people of the two countries can now feel even closer to each other through fruit. We will make the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Japan and India an opportunity for Prime Minister Modi and I to work together to promote people-to-people exchanges, including between youths in sports, tourism, and the specified skilled worker program in the post-COVID period, so that we can make this the backbone for strengthening Japan-India relations over the long term. I will make my visit to India an opportunity urgently for the leaders to resume annual reciprocal visits, which have not materialized for some time. And I will work together with Prime Minister Modi to promote unwavering special strategic and global partnership even more rigorously. I look forward to welcoming Prime Minister Modi at the Quad Summit in Tokyo. Dhanyawad.
Thank you, Excellency. That concludes the press statements. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Please remain seated as the Honorable Prime Ministers leave the podium.